Hello and welcome to the channel. In today's video we'll be doing a comparison of the InvestEngine Fully Managed service as well as the DIY service. So as you're probably aware, in my previous videos I've invested in both the Fully Managed portfolio by InvestEngine, where they do all the work, they invest in the ETFs, they rebalance the portfolio for a small fee, and I've invested in my own ETFs where I've picked my own ETFs, and that's something which I rebalance and I invest in virtually on every month. Whereas the InvestEngine Fully Managed Portfolio, that is a lump sum investment that I did back in December 21, and that has no new contributions made. It's in an ISA, so everything's tax free. It's mainly for the long term, and that's mainly a hands-off investment. So we'll first have a dive in the fully managed portfolio, and we'll do a comparison and why the managed portfolio is something that's worth considering. So as you can see here, although it's in the negative, what you have to bear in mind is that I invested in December 21. Now December 21 was when the bear market originally happened, because I remember putting 6,000 in here, 6,000 in various other accounts, and virtually every single account was in the negative immediately. It was in the positive for about a week or two, and then it just fell off a cliff. So virtually on all my portfolios, whether it was free trade, whether it was InvestEngine, whatever it was, they were all in the negative. Now at the same time, I invested in my own DIY portfolio, and as you can see, that was in the green there. But with InvestEngine Fully Managed, they deal with it themselves. Now the reason why I invested in the Fully Managed was that they take care of everything, as in they rebalance the portfolio. If a particular ETF is not performing well, they'll sell it and buy another. If they feel that that particular ETF has reached its peak, where it's gone up extremely high, they feel as though it's likely to dip, they'll sell it and they'll buy another ETF. So that's the whole purpose of having a fully managed portfolio, is that they deal with all the headache. You don't have to deal with watching the markets to see what's going on. And at the time when I invested, I was fairly new to index fund investing, so I wasn't quite sure which was the best way to go about it. I have been investing for over a decade, but it's been mainly in real estate, so index funds was fairly alien to me, until lockdown, where I decided to research into ETFs and other various ways of making money through the stock market, mainly because I couldn't do any viewings at the time of lockdown. Some of them were virtual viewings, but there's only so much you could see through virtual viewings, and started dabbling into various other things, so buying gold, dabbling into index funds, but I wasn't aware of index funds at the time. I'll elaborate on that on my other videos regarding the biggest mistakes I made, and one was individual stock picking. But yeah, this was one of the first portfolios that I decided to invest in. I decided to compare other platforms like Money Farm and Nutmeg and Wealthify, and at the time they all claimed to be better than everyone else, but the reality is that you don't really know unless you've actually invested with them. Stats don't really mean much. So I decided to go with InvestEngine mainly because of their fees. Most of the other platforms, they charge around 1%, whereas InvestEngine, for a fully managed service, they charge 0.25, which is 25 pence of every £1,000 you invest, which is an extremely good fee structure. I don't know how long they'll have that particular fee structure in place, because it seems too good to be true. But at the same time, if they carry on going the way they are in terms of making a loss for the clients, then that fee doesn't really mean much. So at the moment, I'm being a bit patient here. I'm not going too hard on them because it's at a loss. Whereas my own sort of investments are in the green. So even if you invested in the S&P 500, you would have been up by 10%. So it's one of those where you could consider it. But another thing you need to bear in mind is, although these portfolios are in the green, another thing that I haven't actually stressed is that I've actually set up a monthly direct debit, so it's been cost averaging into the market, whereas with these have not. That's just been a lump sum. So that's something you need to factor in as well. question is, would I invest in InvestEngine Fully Managed Portfolio? As a beginner, I probably would, but as I've learned more about the index fund investing and what I need to do, I probably wouldn't now, mainly because I'd rather save on the fees. Pick a low cost index fund, even if you went with another sort of platform, went with, I don't know, HSBC or something like that, and decided to just invest in their multi-asset fund, that would be sufficient. So it depends on what your goals are and what you want to do, really. But there's a place for them on the market in terms of comparison. That's what it is. You're in the negative at the moment with the fully managed portfolio. You're in the green if you were to invest yourself. But I suppose the perks of it investing with yourself are that you could pound cost average into the market. I suppose you could do that with that as well. But the thing with that is you don't really have much control because they're managing the portfolio. You can't request them to do certain things. You've got the option of increasing your risk appetite. That's one of the things, I think maybe that's one of the reasons why the investment has taken a bit of a hit. Mainly because I've gone for the high growth portfolio, which majority of it is in equities. I think virtually all of it is in equities. It's like 95 something percent that's in equities. So it's one of those where, I've gone for a growth 10, which is pretty much the highest risk portfolio. But even still, it shouldn't be taking a hit as much as it has, but it is what it is. I'll just keep monitoring it and see how it goes. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you've invested in some fully managed portfolios with other platforms, let me know how they're getting on. Because I'll probably be considering investing in Money Farm next. And yeah, I'll probably make a video on that as well on the next tax year. Right, thank you very much. Bye for now.